Hey guys, it's me, Arthur, and I'm just whispering because I'm in the enemy backlines, disguised as a member of their own team. They'll never see through it, for I am the most genius of gamers and prestigious of... But how did they see through my disguise? I was wearing the famous bowler hat, glasses, and mustache trio. It was completely flawless. Maybe I've just lost my acting talent. Perhaps I should just retire like my best friend Daniel Day-Lewis. Unless... what if I told you I found the perfect disguise for spy? Something completely foolproof that you'll rarely get spy checked for using. What's that? You'd like to know what it is? Well, gather round, children. I'd like to tell you a story. It all started a couple of weeks ago. I'm not a spy main by any means. In fact, he's one of my least played classes, and even when I do pick him, it's usually to mess around as gun spy. But the idea of playing a character designed specifically to trick other players has always fascinated me, and since I'm taking university classes to become an actor, I thought it would be an interesting exercise to see if my studies genuinely made me a better spy. After all, what better way to help me in class than by playing a video game for 12 hours straight? The plan was simple. Disguise as every class for an entire session each while using an acting technique of my choosing. This would give each disguise an opportunity to shine and would also prove which is the most effective when using the technique. Speaking of which, may I introduce to you professional gamer Stanislavski. This is TF2 related, I swear, he plays Spy in Highlander. He's the creator of the technique I'm going to be using for this video called The Method. Pretty much all it comes down to is asking yourself 7 questions in character in order to fully engross yourself in your role. Or, to quote his own words, believe in yourself. And you will, be believed, probably, maybe. Now, I know that's probably a little too much information to focus on. Hell, I can't even count to 7. So, for the most part, I'll be talking about these 2 questions. Where am I, and what do I want? I'll be answering these questions as we go along, so without further ado, let's get to it. To me, Scout seems like it would be the easiest class to disguise as. I already main him, so using Stanislavski's method would obviously come naturally to me. What a fool I was. The questions were easy enough to answer. Scout is a flanker, so that answers the where am I part pretty quickly, and a good scout will constantly be on the move in search for a pick. So using that knowledge, I spent most of my time when disguised as Scout jumping back and forth as I searched for my next victim, which was me. It was always me. See, the one thing you can't replicate when disguising as Scout is his speed, and no amount of question answering is going to change that. So while I did get a few people falling for my award-winning acting prowess, a lot of the time it usually ended in my utter despair. So unfortunately, I'm giving the Scout disguise 2 BAFTA awards out of 10. Soldier seems like a pretty simple disguise to go to. He's usually a frontline class, so it seemed like a good disguise to use when the enemy team was going for big pushes, and with how often you see him in games, I thought it would be great for those moments where you just need to blend in. And with him having the second highest health in the game, it made sense to me that he'd usually be playing around the objective. The problem came, however, with answering what do I want. Soldiers mostly want to be using their mobility along with their massive American rocket launcher, which you can't really replicate as spy. So when it came to practice, I was able to fool a few more people than I did as Scout, but I still found myself having around the same amount of success, so for that reason, Soldier gets 3 BAFTA awards out of 10. Pyro was a little harder to answer than the rest. He's kind of a strange mix of support, offense, and defense, so I was going to have to do a little research behind this one. Really, Pyro could be anywhere on the map depending on how you play him, but with the flamethrower being a close range weapon, it made more sense to me to use him closer to the front line. Pyro wants to be close to enemies because he wants to set people on fire. Pyro was pretty 50-50 when it came to people falling for the disguise. The big problem with him is you can't pretend to shoot the flamethrower, which is a pretty obvious tell, but I was definitely a little more successful than Scout and Soldier, so I'll give him 5 out of 10 BAFTA awards. Demoman was pretty similar to Soldier. He's most often playing around the objective, and with the fact that he's basically got 2 primaries as weapons, he'll be swapping back and forth between them a lot. So with that in mind, he gets 0 BAFTA awards. He wasn't even nominated. Get out of here, man. No one ever disguises as Heavy, so I already had the upper hand on this one. The problem came, however, with how slow he is, which made it pretty difficult to fulfill the where am I part. It did, however, make it pretty easy to answer what he wanted. Heavy wants to be at the front line fighting, but most of the time you'll be seeing him in the back line trying to get there. I managed to fool quite a few people by simply just walking to the objective, but the actual success I had with him was kinda few and far between. So he gets 4 out of 10 BAFTA awards. Engineer was probably the best disguise so far. He's a backline class which is already perfect for getting stabs, and in most situations he wants to keep himself busy maintaining his buildings. With that in mind, if you manage to find a nest without an engineer anywhere nearby, no one will guess you're a spy at all. The buildings basically do the acting for you, but of course the big problem is the living engineer. 6 out of 10 BAFTA awards. Medic's pretty simple. Much like Pyro, he's going to try to be in as many places as possible, but in most cases you'll find him close to large groups, or more specifically, people with low health. But the question of where to position yourself specifically is a little difficult to answer. With him being such an important pick, he shouldn't really be at the front line, but if he's in the back line, he can't exactly heal anyone. So it's a weird equal midpoint between the two you need to search for. As for the question of what he wants, all you really need to do is switch your disguise weapon to the medigun. A medic's whole motivation is just to heal their team, so without the medigun out, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. It worked decently well, but after everyone realizes the healing class isn't healing anyone, you're pretty much as good as dead. 5 out of 10 BAFTA awards. Stand still. I'm not even joking, just stand still, that's all you need to do. 10 out of 10 BAFTA awards. The spy disguise can be pretty... No. You know what? I don't even need to talk about the spy disguise. Sniper just wins. You lose. Good day, sir. The sniper disguise is at a level I can't even begin to talk about. So you know what? I'm going to talk about why you should disguise as Sniper. Sniper is the only class that I've been able to get people to consistently fall for. And I'll tell you why. He's simple. No jumping around, no worries about positioning, and the best part, you don't have to worry about not being able to fake shooting. When people look at Sniper, it's almost like you're using Cloak again. They just see him looking down a long corridor and think he's tunnel vision. It really is that simple. Besides the fact that people don't pay attention to you, a good sniper will position themselves behind their own team. And I wonder where the best place for Spy to be is. And just like Heavy, no one checks you because no one disguises as him. I can't begin to explain it because it's just completely insane how many times I've gotten away with just standing still behind people. But it works so consistently well that I'm at the point of believing the sniper disguise genuinely needs to be nerfed. Nothing can stop me now. I've made everyone fall for my incredible acting skill. Now it's time to go in and... No, this can't be. I did everything right. I did everything! If you want to roleplay as the unluckiest player in the game, then pick Spy. You could do everything right, play your cards perfectly, then all of a sudden the game will just do this to you. Oh my god! Please let me kill it! What the fuck? Please! Melee hit reg is so inconsistent in this game, and I can't count the amount of times I've died when I know for a fact I should have gotten the stab. But hit reg has been talked about to death. How about the times where you just get unlucky? What the fuck? Spy truly is just a random crit magnet, and unless you're god tier at getting trick stabs, there's just no way you can escape most situations without completely embarrassing yourself. Well, I can just... Sorry, I got a bit ahead of myself there. The thing is, using your gun is always an option, but I want to do the cool stuff. I want to trick stab, I want to go for big chain kills, but I just can't. If only I had someone to teach me how to play Spy.
Hey, is this the room for Red Tape Lovers Anonymous?
Sorry man, that's next door.
Oh, thanks. Sorry for barging in.
That happens all the time, man. Take care of yourself. I guess that's just it. Even with my incredible acting powers, there's just no way I can play Spy. The game literally won't let me. It's almost like it wants me to fail. It's impossible.
I wouldn't say that.
Famous YouTuber and friend of the channel, Josh Duns.
That's right, my boy. I've left you a little gift. Check outside your door.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I wonder what he got me. I wonder what he... Gasp! A genuine gaming chair.
Well, boys and girls, it seems you've made it to the end of my tale. But I thought it would be fitting to leave you with just a few minor teasing tips of my own. Now, let's not lie. Spy is pretty gimmicky to begin with, but here's my biggest tip of all. Always bring a second spy. You have no idea how funny I find the double spy duo. It makes me laugh every single time. But getting your friends to shoot at you can be pretty effective too. After all, how is the other team going to think you're a spy if your own team's trying to kill you? And then, of course, there's one of my favorite tips. See, here's another tip. You gotta walk backwards. People will believe you. There we go. And finally, the biggest tip of all, if someone shoots at you while disguised, don't instantly run away. That's the dead giveaway. When someone spy checks you, they're looking for a reaction. And going back to Stanislavski, if you were actually on their team and you got shot, would you react? No, of course not. At the end of the day, Spy may not be one of my best classes, but he sure is a lot of fun. And I hope this little mini experiment of mine has taught you a thing or two about how to use Spy's disguises. Oh, that reminds me. I need to see if this has helped me in class. I just got my last exam's test results. Let's see. Dear Arthur, that's me of course. We regret to inform you that you have been kicked off the course due to lack of attendance. Wait a minute, was that Cyber Wizard?